It's here, the new Frederic Malle, composed by Jean-Claude Elena, Heaven Can Wait. Now, oddly for this one, I felt like I could wait. Although I'm a huge fan of Jean-Claude Elena, he might be my favorite perfumer overall, and I'm a huge fan of any new Frederic Malle release. Maybe part of it is I feel like I know his style so well, I somewhat could predict how it was going to smell. And secondly, it's only been a year since Uncut Gem, and I've always appreciated that Frederic Malle takes their time so that a new release really feels like a big deal. But maybe they were backed up from the pandemic, releasing 2 in a row now. Somewhat dampened my excitement. But still, I was eager to try once I saw it was finally in stores. This was funny, they served water, and I noticed later, Frederic Malle, and it smells, I don't know if he low-key sprayed some on there when I wasn't looking, but it smells a bit like Heaven Can Wait. Frederic Malle napkin there. So I wore it all day, having sprayed it at store, and I spritzed a little on later. I went with my usual kind of operating procedure lately for Frederic Malle, which is to buy the 10 ml at the boutique. Gives me a chance to really wear it. That way at least I have some on hand, so I can travel with it. And if I really love it, I can buy a bottle later, especially waiting for it to show up on European web shops, which often are considerably cheaper than paying retail here in the US. So you could say, well, I could have put the money of this towards the difference that it costs in the US, but I like it. I like testing it this way. That way I can tell how much I like it, if I'd like a 50 ml, 100 ml. And I have to say, if I would have really loved it, I probably would not have bought this. I would have just waited for the bottle. So I'm not super eager to buy the full bottle, although I do like it, it's nice. Overwhelmingly, in the dry down, I get clove. The first thing I smelled was a bit of iris, a bit of kind of powdery, soft iris that did remind me for a moment of L'Eau d'Hiver, and I thought it was gonna go down that route. But very quickly, the spices come out, and the dry down is pure clove. It's very holiday, almost kind of Christmassy scent. Clove and sort of like a chewy, vanillic musk in the base, which started to remind me more and more exactly of something I already own, which is Guerlain's Louis. As it dried down, it became unmistakable Louis, and I kept waiting for it to change, trying to think about what would I say are the differences, because oftentimes our first impression of things is to compare them to other things we already know, and as we wear them more, we're more able to distinguish the differences, but it really, really smells like Louis to me. So much so, I'm quite surprised that there's no benzoin in the base of this, because I get a chewy, vanillic, resinous character that I get from the benzoin base of this. Main differences, I would say, are Louis is more complex, more rich, more resinous, but also kind of wears like a big clump on the skin. It doesn't project very much, but it lasts a while. This has that nice wafting Jean-Claude Elena projection, although I will say it's not cold spices, it's much warmer spices than we're used to from Jean-Claude. And I had no problems with performance. I'm still smelling it now, radiating off my chest. It was a hot and humid day. It is pretty linear once it dries down to that chewy vanilla, benzoin, clove. That's all you get for quite a long time. I've been wearing it 7 hours by now. But yeah, interestingly, no benzoin or other resins listed. It just has vanilla peach musk. I don't get peach, but it's kind of one of those illusions that I could see how what I'm interpreting as a vanillic benzoin has like a peachy aspect to it. But nothing to me sticks out as peach, but interesting there. The iris is really nothing more than a top note to me. Gives a little bit of a smooth sweetiness just at the very beginning. But I can't say in the base I get anything resembling iris or vetiver, which is also listed as giving it some backbone. Also, I don't really get ambrette as I know it. Again, I'm not a perfumer. I'm not familiar with all these raw materials alone. My reference ambrette, though, is Chanel number 18, which has kind of a warm, it's a vegetal musk. 18 has a booziness to me. To me, it really reads just like the benzoin in this, but I'm sure ambrette and benzoin maybe have some similar qualities. So I'll spray them once side by side just to test again while I've been wearing it. If I hadn't ever smelled, I really wonder if I had never smelled Louis before, if I would be much more impressed by this, if I'd be more blown away if it was a completely new smell. And it's certainly a new smell within the Frederic Malle lineup, I would say. It's not too similar to L'Eau d'Hiver. It's probably, I'd say, heavier, less powdery, less cold. Definitely a fall type, even winter scent. So the clove reminds me of holidays, almost a Christmas scent. So here's the two, just to get the intro again. Yeah, up top I do get a little bit of iris, just a little bit of lipsticky iris. That's the first thing I read when I sprayed it, and the essay asked me what I smelled. Louis goes a little quicker, just straight into the clove, the vanilla. The Louis by comparison is almost boozy, but honestly the smell I'm getting off this strip is the exact smell that I feel like I've been wearing all day. Now this bottle back in the day went for cheap, and I got it for super cheap. Nobody cared about it. Unfortunately, it's been repackaged as Oeillette Pourpre, really testing my French pronunciation, which I believe is violet, purple violet. What is Oeillette? Gosh, I forget. Oh, maybe it's carnation. Maybe Oeillette is carnation. So carnation, clove, pear. Interesting, actually, pear and peach. This was smoke, leather. I never got any smoke or incense in Louis. So honestly, I'll probably buy a bottle of this eventually, but I'm in no hurry now, seeing as it smells so similar to something I own. In comparison, right now I'm getting more iris in this. This is drier in the intro. So anyway, they're not dupes, but if you know the smell of Louis, I think this will be very familiar. If you love clove, you're going to love this. I'm on the fence. It's a little old-fashioned to me, the scent profile, but I don't dislike clove as far as spices go. Said good performance, airy, Jean Claude Elena. I guess price-wise, the new Oeillette is probably similarly priced to repackaged art material, but this was $50, so it's a little bit funny that this actually feels a little more expensive and that it's richer, more going on. This feels a little simpler, more straightforward, but I would say better projecting than my experience with Louis. Yeah, right now I can feel this is coming more, the Malle is coming more alive off the strip a little bit compared to Louis. So that's it. It's a nice one. This is a hot take. I'm gonna die on this cross of Uncut Gem, but to me Uncut Gem was massively more interesting and better released than this. I think the controversy, the love or hate, is a good sign of Uncut Gem, that they've done something polarizing. It's always better to have people love or hate it than people just, everyone think it's just nice, it's just okay. Again, I don't get the designer, the Sauvage, the Ambrox Bomb, the cheap association with Uncut Gem, and I'm very sensitive to Ambrox Bombs and to designer and to scratchy amber woods. Uncut Gem doesn't smell like that at all to me, but for sure it relies heavily on a dose of a single aroma chemical, which I'm sure lends to it being perceived very differently by different people. But to me, that's such an interesting modernist work, almost just a hardcore slab in your face of this woody musk. And there's something really great about that. It's like a lot of these genres, Frederic Malle takes something that already exists and kind of refines it, but they also modernize it, but they also put their own spin, so it doesn't feel like a rehash. And to me, Uncut Gem is taking that modern amber woods, resinous, sort of like Grand Soir, like sweet synthetic amber accord, and just making it as hardcore and in your face as possible. And I really appreciate that. I'm not sure what riff this would be. I really wonder what's the story behind why Jean-Claude Elena went in this direction with clove. Seems a little random, out of left field. Doesn't seem like it's adding anything. Maybe the idea is that it's a fairly old-fashioned scent profile, a fairly old-fashioned note that you just don't see that much anymore. So he wanted to maybe give it a whirl. So it's okay, but not that exciting to me because I have Louis.